All right, everybody, good morning. Time for yet another episode of Seattle Seahawks Free Agent Stay or Go. And now we're starting to get into the more low level guys, guys who aren't huge priorities, guys who aren't big impact players, but guys we need to make a decision on nevertheless. And the first one today will be Devin Bush, linebacker, signed a 1 year deal with the Seahawks last season, coming from Pittsburgh, and played a little bit and played okay. Played okay. Nothing standout, nothing extraordinary, nothing special, but not bad either. He was just kind of there. He did his job, generally speaking, and I don't really know what else to say about him other than that. So there's definitely a place for a player like Devin Bush in this league, but the price needs to make sense. Now, there are a couple things with Devin Bush that make him a little harder to predict than I'm going to try to make it, but understand that I'm not sure how much these things are going to affect him. First of all, he's a former top 10 pick, so there's pedigree here. He was a very, very highly touted player coming out of college. That's going to boost his potential asking price. He is also still young. He's going to turn 26 later this year, so there's a belief that he's coming into his prime. There's a belief that his best years are ahead of him. That is naturally ingrained in any football analyst of any kind. And he is still probably recovering from a massive injury he suffered several years ago. And there's a belief that, hey, if this guy ever completely gets past the injury, he's going to be a beast again. Because he was looking pretty good his rookie year. He was coming along, and then, boom. That was years ago, though, so I don't know how much people are going to be willing to pay him based off of that. Like, it might be a little too late to play that game. That might have been something that came into play last year, and it didn't, so why would it come into play this year? So I can see it going the other way. But, nevertheless, these are the factors that could influence the kind of money Devin Bush will get. So, let's figure out where we're starting from here. So, Devin Bush last year signed a 1 year, $3.5 million contract with the Seahawks. $3.5 million over 1 year. And what did he do on that contract? Like I said, kind of just played okay. Only started 3 games, played in 13 total. Did a little bit of work on special teams, I believe. Did some work as a backup. Did some work as a starter because Jordan Brooks got dinged up late in the season. And when he did play passably. Nothing too remarkable, nothing too stand out. He was just kind of there doing his job, but not over and above. So when you take a look at what he did in Pittsburgh previous years, he played a lot more. I don't know how much better that he played in 2021 and 2022 than 2023. He probably didn't. But at the same time, he played more. There was actually some substance to sink your teeth into there with Devin Bush. And we didn't really see that so much in Seattle. So theoretically, the leverage that he has in contract negotiations should have gone down. Because in Pittsburgh, at least he was the starter. At least he was putting up volume stats. I don't think he was playing great or anything, but he was out there grinding. In Seattle, he spent a lot of time on the bench watching Wagner and Brooks. So, first off, just starting, I imagine Devin Bush is probably going to get the same or less than he got this offseason. Because what has changed? What has gotten better for him? If anything, things have gotten worse. I don't know if they actually have, but on some level, they may have. So you go to the inside linebacker list and you sort by average annual value. We've got the contract that Devin Bush signed last offseason with us. And if you want to scroll up a little bit, you're looking at guys like Lavonte David. Now, these guys are a lot older, so it's hard to make a comp. But Lavonte David, Jordan Hicks, Bobby Wagner, Josie Jewell, Anzalone. These are guys who bring a lot more to the table than Devin Bush. I know they're older. I know they're taking less money because they've made their money already, which is not something that you can say about Devin Bush. But I'm looking at Devin Bush and I'm going, why do you deserve more money than guys like Lavonte David and Bobby Wagner last season? So I don't think there's a practical reason why Devin Bush's asking price should go up this offseason. The cap went up a little bit, I guess. He's a year further removed from the injury, and he is entering his prime years, but At the same time, that whole prime years argument starts to ring really hollow when he's this many years removed from an injury and he just can't seem to get past it. So I right away, I don't feel like he's going to bump up to the Levante David or Jordan Hicks or Bobby Wagner level. So if you go down below Devin Bush, which is where I imagine this is going to go, this was a prove it year, and Devin Bush didn't really prove that much to me. I liked his coverage metrics, I guess, but I don't know. I find it hard to believe he's going to get more money just because hypothetically he's a year further out from that injury he suffered. You scroll down a couple spots to Denzel Perryman, who got 1 year, $2.6 million last offseason with the Texans. Like, I understand that Denzel Perryman's in a weird position, but he's a much more impactful player than Devin Bush, isn't he? Yeah, he's older. Yeah, he doesn't have quite the pedigree anymore. He doesn't have some of these things working in his favor, but this guy made the Pro Bowl in 2021. In 2022, he was a pretty solid player for the Raiders. He did miss a few games because of injury, but Devin Bush misses games because of injury too. But he was a much more impactful and meaningful player than Devin Bush was for us. You go to PFF, they graded him much higher than they graded Devin Bush in any recent season. So, like, if I can get Devin Bush for $2.6 million, I don't know why I'm paying more than that for Devin Bush. And I know Denzel Perryman kind of fell through the cracks, but if you keep going, next guy on the list would be Oren Burks. This is a decent comp because this guy was 26 when he got this contract with the Niners. 2 years, $5 million. That's $2.5 million a year. Oren Burks, I mean, yeah, he wasn't quite as prolific a player as Devin Bush because of the pedigree. But look at the season he had that earned him that deal in San Fran these last 2 years. 3 games started, just like Devin Bush, similar tackle numbers, similar rough impact on the game. He was playing on a team that won, I think, 14 games that year, by the way. So for whatever that's worth, he's probably going to make more splashes like that. You go to PFF, they weren't big fans of his 2021 season that got him that money, but is this different than Devin Bush? Is this better than Devin Bush? The only reason why you could really argue it is that Bush was a former top 10 pick and Oren Burks was barely top 100. But what's it really matter? At this point, does that matter at all? So yeah, I'm getting a guy like Oren Burks for $2.5 million a year. Why am I giving more than that to Devin Bush? Well, then you've got a guy like Tyler Matakevich with Buffalo, who signed a 1 year, $2.5 million deal last year. And Matakevich, let me make sure I'm pronouncing that right, by the way. Yeah, Matakevich. He barely played. He played in every game almost, but only 6 tackles. So he basically did not really play for the Bills this year. And the grade doesn't really matter because there's no sample size. But still, like, is this radically better than somebody like a Devin Bush? And then you go down another spot, Ezekiel Turner gets $2 million flat. Zeke Turner in 2022 to earn that money, he got, 22 tackles, 1 start? Like, it's not that different, is it? The only difference is that Devin Bush was a really high draft pick, and these guys aren't, I guess. PFF, I mean, again, small sample size, they're not that down on him. So, Devin Bush, just because of the youth and the draft pedigree, I guess I would say something like 1 year, $3 million. I do think it comes down. I don't think it comes down as far as it maybe should. But I'm going to say 1 year, $3 million. And would I do that? I got to say no. If I can go out and get guys on the level of Denzel Perryman or Oren Burks or Ezekiel Turner or even a Zach Cunningham, these guys are all probably just as impactful, if not more so, than Devin Bush. Like, you are taking a leap of faith on Devin Bush that injury is just gonna heal up completely this offseason finally after years and years and years and years. And he is gonna be the all-pro player that people expected coming out of college, and everything's gonna be good with Devin Bush. And it's been a long time since that injury. So I'm looking at this. I'm looking at these players that you could have gotten for less money than Devin Bush got. And it's just like, what am I missing here? Well, why wouldn't I just go get a guy like a Denzel Perryman? Yeah, he's older. Yeah, he has more downside, but I can save money and get a clearly better player. Yeah, sign me up for that. Even the $1 million I saved going from Bush to a guy like Denzel Perryman is significant. And ultimately, hopefully, the guy you sign for that role is not going to play that much. Like the Devin Bush, Denzel Perryman, first linebacker off the bench role, hopefully nobody gets hurt. Now, you accept that they might, but if they do, I'd rather have somebody like a Perryman in here. And then you also have some other issues that are kind of extracurricular with Devin Bush. I'm not going to get into that because I don't know how much that matters, but I don't know. Unless Devin Bush is willing to play for like 2 million a year, 1 year 2 million, I don't know what the point is. So, look, players like Devin Bush do slip through the cracks. He might end up signing for the vet min. There's nothing in his resume that says, hey, I should be guaranteed big money. I should be guaranteed $3 million even. He may end up being a vet min player. And at that price, yeah, he's worth it. But I think the pedigree pushes him to like 3 million, and I just feel like I can spend that money a little bit wiser. I want to save that million. I want to get somebody better, or I want to get somebody cheaper. All right. Let me know what you guys think, though. I don't think a lot of Seahawks fans have strong takes on Devin Bush because he just didn't play that much, and he didn't really stand out positively or negatively to me. He was just kind of there. And I don't think anybody's going to be too sad one way or the other here. All right. I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks, and more videos coming later today.